The next question is about what other games, other than the KOTOR series, has proven to inspire me in the production of Revenge of Revan, as well as how is it different. The games that probably influenced me the most are probably growing up with the Final Fantasy series. That was really big. The idea of having these epic chapters, multiple characters, and these adventures that just take you to this unknown world and just immerse you into this story. Lately, I get inspiration from many games as well as game magazines and learning about different mechanics within the games that are being introduced and how the design is used to actually bring the player into that world and help them feel that they're experiencing something. An example of one of these games is the Batman Arkham Asylum, which is a very good game. One of the best things about it is the pacing. It's really about three or four different structured scenes that happen through the game, but the way it does it, it keeps it fresh. So you constantly, once you start feeling the pace starting to die down, you get this new scene. Scenes just seem to capture you and keep you going through the story, even though you're coming across the same scenarios and you're coming back across the same maps on a repeated basis, but it still captures you. And I found myself playing the game for large periods of time. Other games as well, of course, the Mass Effect series as well as the Dragon Age have both influenced me in looking at different choices in the game and looking at moral decisions that are more in the gray area and having these affect the player on more of an emotional plateau than to simply just give them a good and bad choice. I want the actual player to actually feel the choice and then reinforce it as the story goes on, as well as the character interacts with the party members. Another game that actually influenced me, and I haven't even played it, is Uncharted 1 and Uncharted 2. And within the design of the game, the actual, even though it is a straight line the story goes through, the design is meant to where you reach a point and you have to have something happen. It might be frustrating to the player to then create the next scene. To be an example, in the game there's a rainy scene, you have to carry this character along with you and trying to push within environmental setups as well as story points and the actual to actually have the player feel the frustration through the next scene so that the player feels the emotion of that last scene, goes in. Now they have this character that they don't want to really be with around, and they'll be able to feel that emotion through the rainstorm and just the layout of the design. Now, this all differs than the actual original source of KOTOR 1 and 2, and the reason why it's beneficial to look at outside influences, whether it be in the same genre or an outside genre of the same game you're working on, is to be able to look at it, understand it, and see what tidbits can you take and place into your mod as well as your game to bring out certain story elements, maybe certain characters, maybe certain events, as well as making the players feel a little bit more fresh than normally going through the same scenarios over and over. A good example of this is actually found in the movies. Uh, the movie Batman Begins and Dark Knight are both two very powerful films that I feel that took a character as a comic book character and created a very deep personality to Bruce Wayne and Batman to the point where you enjoy watching Bruce Wayne as well as Batman. In past films, I know for myself, I felt like, okay, when is Batman going to come into this? When is the fight scenes? And the Bruce Wayne is just a filler. And what they did successfully with those two films is to create a more deep drama within the characters and creating a more psychological weight to make the actual viewer care about the Bruce Wayne scenes as well as the Batman scenes equally. As you could tell, movies are very influential to me. Most of my ideas, I believe, come from a combination of games and movies. Movies are great because they do lay out a story. They show certain scenes just like a game does. They have to show scenes to be able to show another scene so that the actual viewer knows, gets the information, or has information that they need to be able to understand the next scene, or give them information that will allow the next scene or a couple scenes down the line be interpreted differently because of that first scene that was presented earlier in the movie.